Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 72. First of all, I must thank Dan for putting in a note, episode 72, because otherwise I'd say the wrong date. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome, Rich. I'm here for you.
If you don't already, we're available on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, podcasts, and all the various different places. Also, as you just heard, Dan is from his own site, and also you can find him on Twitter. So www.frontlinemcoc.home.blog, and as well on the handle at frontlinemcoc, available on Twitter. So make sure to follow Dan in the bio. Dan, man, I'm stressed, I'm flustered and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's been absolutely insane. CM Punk debuting in AEW, then WWE counters with Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar showing up at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It's just been, there's so much going on this week, to cover. Oh, oh, right. This isn't the wrestling podcast.
No,
this
it's
is
not.
The Marvel podcast. Did anything happen in Marvel games this week?
Might be something. It might be some other stuff as well. I completely forgot.
Good.
I was going to make a mention about Gamescom because we had an announcement of Marvel Midnight Suns.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that has been. I've seen that in my timeline as well. It's like, okay, that looks like something. It looks interesting, but I don't know that I have room for that this week.
Oh God, yeah.
It's been crazy, man. We have news from all three games. A new Whatif. Finally the Spiderman trailer.
Yeah.
We got a full episode. So let's get into it. Top of the order is the release notes for MCOC version 32.2.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
which is
got them all. If you're watching on YouTube, we will have I'll kind of be talking at the same time, but we will be talking about them for those that listen on the various different platforms. Anything that it seems a little bit quiet this month, Dan.
It does. We know the two big things, right? We know Kitty Pryde, we know Nimrod are coming. No surprises. Kitty is a mutant, and Nimrod is a tech champion. Those were quite obvious when those champions were announced, and I'm very excited about these champions. Kitty's one of my favorites from the comics. Nimrod. I think a lot of people know Nimrod from the X-Men animated cartoon.
Yeah.
He's only made a few appearances in the comics, but he's kind of this unstoppable super sentinel that can regenerate. And if you remember him from the 90s cartoon, he does a number on Bishop and Wolverine in a couple of episodes. So hopefully, Nimrod's like super OP. So he's one of those that's hard to make work in the game and make everyone happy. I think a couple interesting things from the release notes. One is that the side quest lasts 2 months.
Yes.
They've never done that before.
This is going to be... I'm trying to think of how I'm going to sink my teeth into it. I'm a bit disappointed they're going with another month, or 2 months, that is centered around things to do with the objectives. It's just my concern that maybe players a bit too burnt out from, say, this month from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been objective heavy, especially this past month where there wasn't a quest. And 2 more months of this with a new set every week. It's really going to depend on how dialed in these are. Like, I like the quantity ones where it's like you just get it from playing the game. It's like defeat 10 mutants. It's like, all right, I'm probably going to do that. But if it's like defeat 5 skill champions by ending the fight with a light hit, it's just like, I don't want to remember to do that.
Yeah, that is so. Yeah. I get I think this is one of these months where we've just had it so regularly. I'm not saying that Kabam are out of ideas for kind of side events. They obviously have plans for this, but I don't know. I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be good if they just did Mutant Treasure Island 2 and a fun Deadpool thing, a sequel?
I think people would be all over Mutant Treasure Island 2.
Yeah.
People have been asking if Mutant Treasure Island is going to return since the first day of Mutant Treasure Island. They're like, this is great, do this again.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be a little bit of disappointment that event wasn't brought back. I mean, in some respects, that event was just broken OP.
Yeah.
But you could still, I mean, you could do that event now, and people with the same rewards from last year, and people for the most part would be pretty happy. But I think one thing that could be pretty cool is we're getting a Shang Chi challenge.
Yeah, I saw that and was like, "Oh, hello."
I don't know. Is this I don't think it's a celebrity challenge because they're not using the actor's name. But clearly they're doing something to line up with the movie being released in September. Yeah. So that's always cool.
Yeah, and that's for me. I'm like, I would have hoped to have some Shang-Chi, more Shang-Chi characters, especially like Death Dealer and maybe the Mandarin. But yeah, like this is something of a not an issue, but I'm kind of missing movie versions of characters or TV versions of characters.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's just this year. Like 2020 as well.
It's been tough with with the films getting canceled or moved around so much. We know that's messed up with their schedule.
Yeah.
Like if Shang-Chi had come out this month, he'd feel like the movie version.
Yeah.
But he doesn't because he came out in June or so. We'll see what they do with Eternals. Like, if we get the Eternals event in November, then you'll feel like, okay, we're back on track. It's really tying in. And that, I mean, at least with Eternals, like I feel like they've been on that November 2021 release timeline for what, like a year now?
Yeah.
There's been time to adjust, right?
Yeah. I just would hope that this would be the time we start seeing some movie versions. It's just kind of weird to go a long time without them, and
it is, especially where there's so many cool options out there.
Yeah.
Or even in the Marvel TV where we're getting cool new versions of characters like Sam as Captain America, like White Vision. We kind of got Scarlet Witch, but not really.
And even like some ones that have got this. This is the thing about Kabam getting kind of like popularity to their game, as kind of the buzz is there. Like imagine if they kind of went, oh hang on, right? Sylvie is kind of like popular on like you see blown up on Twitter and whatever. And you're like, oh, should we have done a Sylvie in kind of preparation? Not to say that it would be different from Loki, but they could have done something with it and put it out. And imagine that, like it's like on Twitter, like play Sylvie in Marvel Contest of Champions, and it'd just be like people would be like, oh yeah, all about that, interested. Like, oh, I can play Sylvie. I start off with a 3-star Sylvie and get to play the game. I just kind of think that there's a lot of times Kabam and Marvel Contest of Champions miss opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's just related to the timeline with the builds, but I think you're right, and we have to acknowledge that the TV series and the movies in particular is what drives the hype.
Yeah,
I mean, as much as I like the comic books, and I'm excited about this month, but Kitty and Kitty has been in some of the X-Men movies, but that was quite a while ago, and she certainly wasn't the main focus of them. And we never had Nimrod in the movies.
Yeah.
So that's where the hype comes from for a lot of people, is when these movie characters show up. So and I actually wrote in my preview of the release notes that hopefully Nimrod and Kitty are really good, because the game needs some hype right now.
It does. There's been a lot of and I think what we'll do is at the end of the year, because me and you usually record we try and record maybe 2-3 podcasts in bulk, and or kind of like separate them down into different kind of like record for about 2 to 3 hours and then break them down into like things. Is we should do our side event tier list, maybe like champion tier list of 2021 or something like that, and kind of like see if we can put them into like a tier of kind of like I think I like Cams the most. I think Cams is probably the best tier list in the game. or like
the useful, usable, useless.
Yeah, I think we'll kind of like
it's pretty simple.
Yeah, we'll have a kind of a 2021 kind of bash at that, because a lot of them, you look at, and this is the problem when there's characters that I really like, and as we kind of, as you said, Dan, different reasons for different characters. Kitty Pryde and Nimrod, both ones I fondly remember from the X-Men animated series or X-Men Evolution and various different shows and TV and comic books as well. To have these not given the full majesty of good damage, good utility, or just effectiveness for normal rotation in your roster or teams is going to be one of the biggest things for me. And if it's not there, I will be disappointed, and I don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, I don't want to be disappointed either. I'm pretty excited, particularly for Kitty. She's been at the top of my list. When they did the State of the Battle Realm back in like January, I thought it was, she was one of those that I thought was a lock.
Yeah,
like, it was her and Odin. I was like, yeah, we're getting them. Like, there's nobody else that goes in these spots with those connectors. I know they just released a new one, which I haven't had the time to look over with everything that's going on. But yeah, it's always disappointed when one of your favorite characters gets added and they're not they're not fun to play. So I'm really hoping that these characters are fun to play, and I think I'm going to be going for Kitty either way. I really like the design. I'm super excited that they incorporated Lockheed into the animations because he's just such a key part of her. Her story is, Lockheed's like this alien dragon that's her companion, and they met fighting the Brood, and he traveled back to Earth with her as kind of her protector. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about that. What was I gonna say? I lost.
The thing is, Dan,
it's early, Rich.
Yeah, I know.
My train of thought.
It's good for you. Like, if people don't know, Dan is literally up at 6 a.m. to record this podcast, which is I think is more helpful for me than it is for him. So thank you, Dan.
The coffee is still kicking in.
Yeah.
But I did really like the motion comic.
Yes.
Because it showed Kitty's costumes through history. Because when she joined the X-Men, she was like 13 years old. She was playing around with the different costumes, and she was going by Ariel for a while, and Sprite for a while, and then she settled on Shadowcat, which is that traditional black costume from the Excalibur days. Before she, eventually in the 2000s moved over to more of the standard X-Men costume that we're used to and that you're seeing in game with, of course, the Marauder scarf is a nice bit of flair. Oh, what I was going to say was when I went to Comic-Con 2018 and I talked to Gabe Frazera, this was like October of 2018. So the last big X-Men thing was they'd released Sentinel and Bishop and Sabretooth.
Yeah.
And I was like, Gabe, I know the story bounces around. I love the X-Men part. Like, we need a Kitty Pryde and Nimrod month. I think it'd be awesome. And Gabe, Gabe's one of those guys that's like, he wants to tell his own story. And, I'm certainly not taking credit for this 3 years later. And he, because he kind of poo-pooed it. And he was like, Nimrod, I don't know. And I was like, no, it'd be great. It ties in with your story. It's like in Kitty's Special 3, she's got to phase him into the ground. And then Lockheed's got to swoop in and, launch his flame attack at the guy. It's going to be amazing. And, that's what we're getting. So... I'm just super excited. Yeah. Have you seen the Special 3?
Well, no. I know that. I'm just how weird is that you said that to him 3 years ago, and 3 years later, that is what I mean.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I'm not taking credit for it. It's clearly the obvious route to go. Any sort of studying of the history and other, thinking about how this could work within the game. But at that time I was just like, it'd just be like when Rocket Raccoon jumps in on Groot's special 3.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, like, it looks like Lockheed's, like, actively involved in every special. Like, we've gotten to that point. So, I'm pretty excited, just for the animations alone. But I can't wait to start some CCP testing on Kitty and seeing if she's the real deal.
Yeah. It's like, people have said, like, they want her to be a mutant ghost.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why the ghost thing comes up because of the phasing.
Yeah.
For me, it's really like her thing in the comics is she's like the X-Men's robot killer.
Yeah.
She's super smart. She's an electronics whiz, and her phasing power disrupts electronic systems. So she's one of those that kind of should be against class advantage and be good against tech champions, particularly robots.
Yeah, so tech and #robot.
Yeah, like it's kind of like Magneto in a way, where it's like, the game has tech over mutant, but Magneto is like, no, is this a metal tech?
Yeah.
Because then I win. So I would like to see some of that with Kitty for the comic accuracy. I think that would be great. So I'm really hoping that's in the kit.
Yeah. We've also got some free crystals this month, or next month, sorry. Marauder mystery crystals. So
and did you look at who's in that list?
Oh, there was a Hyperion 6-star.
6-star Hyperion and 6-star Ghost Rider.
That is
those are new. I mean, I didn't think we were gonna get 6-star Hyperion. That dude is still a beast. He is a timeless champion. He's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, just give me 6-star Hyperion. We don't need to awaken him.
Mm-hmm. These shards, I think people will be interested in the daily deals if they're going to drop, to get like an opportunity for that. I don't think we're going to get very many because it looks like it's only attached to a calendar, and there's never a huge amount that's offered on there. It's like one. I think it's maybe like it takes 1 and a bit a week. I guess we'll have to see if they're in the objectives for the side quest as well. That might be some. And I mean, I guess if this thing's gonna run for 2 months, they're not gonna load us up in the beginning either. No, this one is only available this month.
Oh, it's only available this month. Okay.
Yeah, it will end on the 10th or no, the 9th of October. It's so weird seeing things.
Okay.
Because in the UK we do something. We go like we go date, month, year. But obviously America and Canada, it's month, date, year.
Right. So this time of year probably gets pretty confusing.
It does.
Because like, is it September 10th? Is it October 9th? What do we intend here?
Yeah, if I do the 31st of December from UK transfer over to like the US, you probably go, there's no month 31.
Yeah. Well, at least there, because it's impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at the list. I think the one other thing that's cool and hopefully this addresses something that people have talked about on Twitter quite a bit, is a preview screen for the event quest when you're selecting your team. Because I know a lot of people are saying, I hate I go in, I look at the node, I scout the lane, then I gotta go back and reset my team.
Go in again.
And so they've done some solid UI updates with things like Alliance Quest this year, and hopefully this is another one. So
I'm really looking forward to that, because it's like the amount of time I go I'm going into a Cavalier, and I'll go like 1 week into it, and I come back, I don't know, week 3 and go, what was my champions for this? And then you go in and go, right, okay, that. Oh, I need a counter for that. So I'm like, I bring then I end there, and then I put these in, and then I have to go back in and go, okay, well, have I got the right champions for the boss? And then you might have to go end quest and then go back in again. But at least with this, you can just go like, I can look at the boss very quickly by clicking a button. I can then have a look at the lanes. I can then go and back to edit team, select them, and then kind of check back without having to end quest about 2 to 3 times, because you're like, I'm unsure about my preparation this time. So I really like it a lot. I think there was a forum post that went out about that. So
yes, yeah, they did post something.
Lovely. How are you I just wanted to find out, Dan, how are you with keeping up to date with stuff that you've got to do in the game? Because now we're in the end. We're literally in the end game. We've got a matter of days before the.
Yeah, I mean, I've basically punted on this month's events for work reasons and trying to keep up with everything else. I'm not really worried about the objectives or this month's Cavalier. I finished variant 6.
Nice.
I started variant 7, so I'm really focused on completing the permanent content that I haven't got to. I want to get to it. It's my favorite part of the game. I want to do the guides for content creation purposes. So I've stepped away from map 7 for the time being, and that's what I'm focusing on. So I'm really doing working on variant 7 right now, and I'm playing these arenas because I do like the arenas. They're arenas kind of like that. I'm just gonna chill. My kid's watching Pokemon. I'm gonna get a few rounds in while we're hanging out. So it's really just been arena and the variant content for me. I am playing low level AQ map 4 in my alliance, and we're silver 1 silver 1 war, so pretty stress free for me.
Yeah, I'm struggling with like time and availability for the game now. Not in a kind of a way that I'm like, it just, when I think that I've got time for stuff, more stuff comes on, and I'm like, this is gonna, if you go like, okay, well, if I do this, like last night I played Call of Duty for 3 hours with Chris LaFleur, PJ Vice, and Fizz, and that's just the thing, isn't it? Like I enjoyed myself for those 3 hours, but then I've lost 3 hours of kind of finishing off Cavalier difficulty, or I've lost 3 hours to try and do something with Summer of Pain, or I've kind of lost that against like doing other things. And
Summer of Pain.
Yeah, and I'm like, I just can't. Not the words that I can't be bothered, but I just kind of feel like I need to make quicker wins, and I think that's really the problem that I'm having at the moment. Is kind of like with my time and availability, is finding opportunities for making smaller wins, and I'm relieved that next month there's no Act 7.3 or a new variant, and the reason I'm happy about that is like I just won't be able to physically keep up. Like I go into the end game for the wedding planning, where I
the end game for the wedding.
That's what I'm referring to.
Rich's wedding end game.
It literally feels like we are in the end game.
Oh yes, we're in the end game now.
But I need to be very savvy though. As of next week, I probably will. At this stage, I may either do one pass of Summer of Pain, or I'm not going to bother with it.
I did the one pass. I spent 30 revives on the Grandmaster and said, you know what? I think one's enough.
Yeah.
I'm just not good at that fight. I mean, clearly there is a skill element to it. Because there are certain people that can solo it.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people, and I don't think me dropping 6,000 or 7,000 units on that is going to be fun. So I'm not going to do it. It's also just like, it's not just having to revive that many times, having to die that many times, just feeling like crap. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't feel like I would get that much better to make it worth it. Like if I thought like, oh, okay, like next round I can cut it down to 20 and then 10 and then 5, like okay, because then I was but it feels a little too random.
Yeah, I agree.
To me, like because you don't know what prompt's coming, or like if you miss seeing the prompt on the screen, or it's stupid stuff like that first phase. Like I'm trying to slowly tap out the light attack so I don't get one of those blunders, right?
Yeah.
But I go too fast and then I get a blunder, so I go too slow the next time and then I get smacked in the face. It's like there was always like okay, I solved a problem. and then I immediately get punished by the next problem.
This
with the Grandmaster. There's just, for me, there's too much for my brain. I know there's clearly a skill element, and some people can handle him. He's too much for me. Sometimes you just got to admit you're beat.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He's beat me.
The same thing with me when it came to doing the fight in Act 6 when I was doing that, and I got to go back and do it. But I'm just not there with it from an. I know I'll get bored, and the problem is when I get bored, I've kind of like spent 10 revives. I'm looking at it and just going like, I'm so bored. I could use my time more valuably in different areas to kind of get other content done. I could have gone back and done this, or I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. So I think for me, I'm going to consider it more as a loss of time, and I need to then use that time that I would have wasted. It's debatable whether or not I use the term wasted, because people would go, well, you get this, this, and this, that's helpful, like tier 3 alpha or tier 6 basic, and I agree. But at the same time, for me personally, you have to then go, if this is taking me 10 hours, so to speak, or this is taking me X amount of hours, then I could have 100%ed Cavalier difficulty with less stress and less frustration. I could have gone back and done Act 7.2, which I need to 100% within next month before 7.3 is released, which, let's face it, that's going to be released then. And then finding that extra time to go back and do Act 6.2 and 6.4, which is still things that are on my back. The same thing with yourself, Dan. It's just like,
same thing,
when am I going to get time before we get into the Christmas rush? There's loads of little events. There's Grandmaster crystals, greater gifting crystals, and loads of events. A new variant, probably some other stuff that's going to come out that's going to be a super secret stuff. Maybe a challenge or two, and you're like, look, this is now getting a little bit serious, because then I'm like, I want to play some other games as well.
Right, exactly. Well, that's part of it for me too, and I think after a while you learn, like, the event quest and the side quest, like a lot of those rewards are like if you really need to keep up.
Yeah.
Like if you don't feel like those rewards are helping you keep up, or you're not trying to keep up, they become much more optional. And it's very freeing. And you're like, well, then all right, instead of making the choice like, well, this is what I have to do for the rewards, it's like, well, what do I want to do to have fun?
Yes, that's
you know, and maybe I want to just blast through a little variant 7 with my Archangel on a bleed vulnerability node for a good time. So that's the thing. It's like, all right, what do you want to do? What do you want to create content for? There's only so many hours in the day. I'm with you there, Rich.
It's the point. You with MCC, like, I'm not going to say ever that I don't think I'm ever solely bored with it or kind of like overly frustrated, but you go to whatever areas that you like of the game to find it fun. I think you hit the nail on the head there. We go like, okay, well, if this isn't working out for me and I'm not overly enjoying it, what do I enjoy? What is fun in my grind? And I might go, hang on a minute, well, I find incursions fun. I might go and play a bit of incursions. Variants, as you said, if you've got a variant on. And there may be something with, you've got an aspiration to get something ranked up. So you kind of maybe do like Act 7.1, 7.2, Act 6. You do something in this game, or you might like have a units target that you want to accumulate. And that's the thing. Right. I find it, and as I said before, it's weird, but I find it fun to just sit down, put a movie on. And you said that your son will play or watch Pokemon, and you're there like, do you know what? He'll be doing that for an hour, or I'll be watching his movie for 2 hours or whatever. And it's like, hang on a minute, if I get a load of units by doing this grind, it's going to be beneficial for the longer term investment for things like Cyber Weekend, when or July 4th, where literally I have to pay no effort. I get to buy something, and it's somewhat rewarding. So yeah, you find your fun.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta find your fun. Don't let people force you into doing this or that. Like, you gotta choose your own path.
For sure. Right, I think this is a good opportunity for us to move on to one of, for me, the most scariest, and we haven't had the zombies yet, scariest episodes of What If.
Right.
Oh
So
God.
episode 3, I called this Nick Fury's big week goes horribly wrong. So if you're not familiar with the timeline of the MCU, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor all happen within a few days of each other. And that is referred to as Nick Fury's big week because he has a lot to do.
Oh God, yeah.
So this episode looks at what would happen if all of those missions went horribly wrong. This was a fun episode. I don't know. I think that T'Challa Star-Lord one is still my favorite by far. This one's again a little more based in like the reality of like, all right, here are some circumstances you're familiar with. One thing changes. I wish we had gotten more of Crazy Hank Pym because he steals the episode for me. Like I think I would have almost preferred the episode from his point of view because he seemed like a really interesting dude.
I kind of thought it would have been good to start the episode off with the early part, like the early years of like Hope Van Dyne. By the way, spoiler alert. By the way, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Right, Hope Van Dyne dying and being that setup premise for Hank's turn into vengeance, anger, revenge, which needed to build up over time and set about the things in motion that we saw. But Dan, everyone dying was just
that was sad.
That was.
Yeah, I mean this one's a little weird because, like you said, like with the first two, we see the change happen, right?
Yeah.
Like we see like, okay, it's gonna be Steve. Nope, now it's Peggy. We see the Ravengers pick up T'Challa. But in this one, like the change is, the domino cascade effect is Hope dying, and we don't see that.
Yeah.
So like we think the change is Tony dying, but it's not because there's already been changes before that. It's sad to see all of our friends dying, particularly the Hulk. That one hurt, man. That was pretty brutal and gross.
Yeah, that was.
That was rough.
I just remember like a movie of there's several movies where it's just like he just overexpands, which we find out is Hank Pym's gone down to micro level and is kind of like injected some kind of like gamma over gammaed him or something. So he's like a gamma balloon and bursts. That's not nice. No,
it's not. Hank, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hank picks everyone off. The fight at the end is a lot of fun though. Like when it's Loki as Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like kind of swatting Yellow Jacket away, and we've got Hank Pym as Yellow Jacket, a nod to the comics there. So yeah, interesting, but again, kind of like the first one where it ends with Captain Carter coming to the present. This one starts to get interesting really at the end of the episode because like, what do we do now? Loki just took over Earth. Like that feels like it warrants a follow-up.
Yeah, there's a few things that I'm like, I don't know if they're leading into one another or not, because I thought to myself like, oh, they're all dead, but they've only recently died. Is this going to be the point where something happens and turns all the Avengers into zombies?
Oh, I don't know.
In order to leave into that episode. But then I'm thinking like right at the end, Nick's kind of like brushing off the ice from the shield and whether or not they're going to allow, there's a capsicle there that they're going to kind of like, reanimate or kind of like, inject with something to kind of like make them alive, turns into zombie. Same thing with the others that are there. But Rumlow makes a return as well.
Yeah, a lot of the big voice actors, but there's Rumlow's in there. Betsy Ross, who's someone we haven't seen for a very long time.
No Ed Norton.
That's the funny thing, right? It's like it is Mark Ruffalo. Like it's Mark Ruffalo, his voice, it looks like Mark Ruffalo, but he's been animated into the scenes from the Incredible Hulk movie. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess that it's kind of like still a bitter. No, when I guess it's like one of these things where whether or not I don't know. Edward Norton maybe was asked and went, "No way! I had such a bad kind of like experience."
Right. But yeah, I mean some cool stuff in that regard. Yeah.
This was a good little episode. I'm still surprised that every kind of like main Avenger, you're like, oh, you're dead. Oh no.
Yeah, I know, right?
He just surprised. You just don't expect to see it. Some good Tom Hiddleston Loki acting,
as usual, right?
Yeah.
That was the one thing when they killed Thor, and I'm like, okay, so what was Loki doing right now in the Thor movie? You're trying to remember. It's like, okay, like he's still in Asgard. He's learned he's a frost giant, but he hasn't turned on everybody yet. So it's like, okay, like he could show up trying to avenge his brother.
Yeah. Because I can't remember if this is the point that Odin goes into the Odin sleep. I think it goes into Odin sleep, and then Loki like kind of says like, oh, I'm the leader of Asgard, and then takes it from there. Yeah, it's a really good episode, well worth giving a watch. Let's go move on to Spider-Man, which is
we got a trailer. We learned so much from this trailer.
God,
without it giving away too much, it did walk the line of clearing up a few questions and getting us all excited.
Yeah.
So, did you have a favorite moment from the trailer?
It's probably the hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter. Yeah.
Hello, Peter.
How about Alfred Molina not aging a day since Spider-Man 2?
I gotta be honest. When I was looking at it, first of all, I was like, "Hey, you look good." And then in other images, to be honest, he looks like my nan.
Oh my goodness!
My nan will probably never listen or watch this. But
I think the Dr. Octopus haircut is not the most stylish.
No, it's never meant to be. Is it?
That's not on him. That's So what I think was most interesting is the Doctor Strange stuff.
Yeah.
Because we learned a couple things. One, we blamed Wanda for things she did not cause.
Everybody.
Right? We owe Wanda an apology.
Yeah.
Wanda, we are sorry. It wasn't you. You did not destroy the multiverse, apparently. But then, it was Loki and Doctor Strange all along.
It's all along, yeah. That's the thing. It's just like we kind of like what's caused the motion to then talk about like for those to kind of start the ball rolling with multiversal type stuff, and it's like, is it Loki? It's Loki and Doctor Strange, but at the same time, maybe is Doctor Strange 100%, because what's going on right now could have been what was these cause and effects of stuff. Maybe this is what Kang was kind of like talking about at the time. Maybe it was all about this as opposed to
maybe this is a Nexus event, something like that. Cool. Yeah. So what another and Rich, we've been talking about the Mephisto trolling, and it went next level in the Spider-Man trailer.
What? Because he's got like the devil horns and a mustache on the someone's got the board. Devil in disguise.
There's that, but the spell that Doctor Strange casts to make everyone forget that Peter is Spider-Man, that is from Brand New Day in the comics, and Mephisto is the one who cast the spell that makes everyone forget that Peter is Spider-Man post-Civil War.
Right.
So Doctor Strange is doing something Mephisto did in the comics.
But this is the thing of saying, like, are we in the correct universe for Spider-Man? And this Doctor Strange, is he, like, the good guy? Because then we've got, like, this kind of moment on the trains where he's looking to like injure Peter, and it looks like there's a different outfit that's more darker.
Oh, Alternate Doctor Strange.
I don't. The problem is, there's so many theories going around at the moment about Doctor Strange and his input. Because then there's another scene where because it's more of a darker one when he's on the train doing the trains that are doing this loop around him and it looks like he's attacking Peter Parker. There's another scene where he's in the blue with a red cape and he's got what seems to be some sort of like sanctum box or convergence box of some kind. Peter Parker's got it, but Doctor Strange is attacking him looking, I would say, to steal. Or there's so much going on. That is
it's exciting. Like I'm very hyped. Like I feel like we now know what the movie's about. I don't think they gave away too much. Are you cool with not seeing other Spider-Men? Or did you really want to see Tobey in this?
Well, there is a rumored image online which has been run through a Photoshop and has kind of like rendered it to not have any kind of like alterations to it, putting Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield on a CGI green screen rigging, and it looks to be like legit. Obviously, they're not going to like bring that card to the table because they still want to kind of, until the promotion goes out in December, it's like they don't want to reveal too much. Like I would say, if they were doing it, it'd be a week before release, and they go final trailer, and it would be like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I'm just trying to think of a Tobey Maguire line that he would he probably do his weird ass scream when he's running through, jumping through the air, going or something like that. But yeah, that's probably when they do it. But they wouldn't kind of like bring it to the table to kind of like
I mean, it's not like it's necessary to sell the movie.
No, exactly.
I mean, it was just kind of cool, like after all this time, to see the confirmation of Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, and like, okay, no, we're really doing this, like, because there's been so many rumors for years and years and years about like Magneto is going to show up in WandaVision. Like, everyone's got an idea, and it like this is going to be the crossover. It never happened. So for it to actually happen, it's like, like they actually did it.
Yeah, they got the green.
He's there.
They got the Green Goblin bomb, so that means that that's
now is that William Dafoe's Green Goblin? Is that a different one?
I would go William Dafoe because I just don't think they'll do Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Probably not. Well, not considering we never actually got the Green Goblin in that movie, did we?
We got was it Hobgoblin? It was
I'm trying to remember because it was Lizard and Electro. Like I think the Green Goblin stuff was in the background that they were building to the third movie, and they never got there.
Yeah, because it was Harry. I think it was Harry Osborn in it. Because he does.
Yeah. It was going to be Harry. Yeah.
That Sandman is going to be. Well, there's a still image of what seems to be Electro and Sandman not standing together. But
that's right. I forgot that they're bringing in Electro as well.
Yeah,
and Sandman was actually pretty well done in Spider-Man 3. That was like. He's one of actually the best parts of that. Yeah.
There's also a bit where as soon as the spell is being cast, there seems to be something that kind of like jumps out at Peter. I'm just trying to find the still image for the YouTube. But it's difficult to find because it's like a split second thing. In that particular bit, the creature that kind of like comes out of him or seems to come out of him is like it's like a bit brutish, and it's like that people have either said it's Lizard, it's Kraven the Hunter, or it's Venom. Now, people are kind of like going with Lizard as being the kind of the Risa fans Lizard, and that I'd say that's logical of a thing that it could be. It's just. Kraven the Hunter has been put in with. We know that Andrew Taylor Johnson is going to do something with Kraven the Hunter, but whether or not it's going to be something that's going to be, I don't know, seen in here or whatever. But it's kind of weird because it's like a spirit, not a spirit, like a ghostly kind of like but it's like that must be at the point of like, I don't know, the spell being all kind of like cacked up or something that that happens. But you know, you never know with this film. I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised.
Yeah, I don't think, and I don't think we should get something like Kraven in this movie just because it's going to be so busy. Like, it's hard to introduce new characters in a movie that's clearly going to feature so many villains. I think they have to rely on the audience already being invested in a lot of these characters because they're not going to have time to introduce new ones. And honestly, like, if we've got all this going on, if we've got Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin showing up and Jamie Foxx's Electro, like, we've got enough going on there.
That is true.
Like, we're gonna get like some sort of Sinister Six thing going on. Like, I think we'll be okay. Like, plus they need to repair the multiverse. Like, we've got enough scope here and enough villains. So I would just end it on like, how about Wong just working his way into all these movies? Good for him.
I would love to see that in Marvel Contest of Champions as well, or Wong.
Yeah, when we talk about like a movie tie-in, like Wong, like, let's get him in the contest. That dude is showing up everywhere. He is like Phase 4 Phil Coulson.
Yeah.
He's just in everywhere, giving people good advice, trying to keep everything on the rails. No one's listening to him.
Strange, don't do that spell. That's good advice.
Guy. That is good advice. Listen to that guy.
I'd love to see a moment when he comes back to the sanctum, because he looks like he's going on a holiday or something, and just be like, I told you not to cast it. You casted it, didn't you?
Yeah. We need some good Wong shaking my head memes.
Yes.
just disappointed in everybody. I wonder how it's going to line up. Like, is Wong going on vacation, or is he going to fight the Abomination?
That's a good. He's.
You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he did have longer hair in the trailer, so whether or not he shaves it in order to go back to more kind of like
good catch.
I don't know, Buddhist ways, assuming they follow a little bit of Buddhist teachings and stuff. Any case, that is what it is. Should we move on and talk about Marvel Future Revolution?
Yes, let's do it. We had our global launch, and I think there's kind of two narratives going on right now. So there's people like me who are getting that first impression, seeing some stuff they like, learning the game, and then there's sort of a backlash from the people that got to the end game in the beta, who are not quite happy with where the game is going. So why don't we jump into that second topic first, because I feel like you have some thoughts on that.
Well, the difference is, for me, is I will kind of address that very much in a second. For me, it's very different because I enjoy the game from a exploratory kind of like big world kind of, this is Marvel characters done to a degree that everyone has had their time. It's like Marvel Contest Champions, in that every champion is built a certain way in order to do different things and have different kind of interactions. And they're beautiful, they're great to look at, there's more customization, it's what I love. I love to go into these different areas, and I feel that if you like that aspect of the game, if you like the same thing with completing quests, doing boss battles, similar to like your World of Warcraft, Marvel Omega Heroes, whatever it is, then you'll absolutely love it. The second part to this is that where the whaling, the complete endgame situation is a problem when it comes to PvP. I now hate PvP for this game. There's not a fair matchmaking system in place that takes into consideration your power rating, your positioning in your rank, and various other things. So I'll give you an example. There's something called dimensional duels. Once a week you get a certain rank, but trying to win is really hard when, say, for me, I'm gold 3 at the moment, and I'm going up against people that are 3 up to 4 times ranks above me and are literally just stomping me down, and I'm there like, okay, this isn't fun. The same thing happens with a Mega War, which is kind of like a massive, I think it's 8v8 or 10v10, where you are trying to collect some crystal shards from the floor, but also people are going around with their absolutely inflated gear and power rating, and literally with 1 or 2 hits are able to kill you down in an instant, and you're there like, this is stupid, absolutely stupid.
Would you say it's it's as bad as what we saw with some of the matchmaking in Realm? Is it worse? Is it not as bad? What
I'd say it's worse than Realm. Because in Realm, it was a case that you would be able to, I don't know. In Realm, you would at least be put like close to one another in certain things, and like your rating and stuff, and let's say like to a degree gear, it will take into better consideration. This is totally different because as soon as you reach an end point, you have to rely on a matchmaker which does not exist, from what I gather, to fairly pit you against other people. Like I could be, what am I? I'm rank 70 squad with a level 100, and I will go into fight those that are squad rank 100 plus and with absolutely better uniform or kind of costume and other areas like specialization, which is kind of like a further mastery type build system, and that just it's like it's over stomping. And like Marvel Realm had it bad, but it's like, man, this is really bad. The difference is with this game compared with Realm is they've developed their PvE first, and PvP does give some amazing stuff with its stores, and that's why I'm pushing that, and that's why it interests me. But the PvE side of things is the best part of this game, and that's I'm thank God that that's the case.
Yeah.
What have you seen from people or heard from people on that subject?
Well, most of what I've seen has probably been like we talked about. There's the people that have gotten to level 100 in the end, who are like, well, what do I do? This doesn't seem that great or fair. A lot of what I've seen is focused on the art, though, of the people just being introduced to it, and it is a great looking game. I've probably played for about an hour. I played through the initial convergence and one mission. The missions do take a little while. So it's not like MCOC where you can jump in and just do a couple rounds of arena and jump off. Like you have to kind of set down to have time to play this game, which is going to be a bit of a struggle for me. But I was, I liked how sort of the cutscenes were merged in with how you played the game through the tutorial, that they had all this voice acting in there. But the big thing for me was I selected Storm as my first character, and just the ability to kind of fly around and zap people with lightning. Like it really felt like you were fighting a storm. Like the first Storm mission, I don't know if you play this one, but you go into this holding cell of the raft and you're fighting sentinels and escaped mutants, and it's like, this really feels like Storm fighting sentinels from the comics. Like she would take to the air, she would zap them with lightning, she'd be flying around trying to dodge the the eye beams. Like this feels pretty good.
Funny you should say that.
I'm not sure what all these buttons do yet, but it felt pretty good. Like it didn't feel as limited by like the fact that it was a game.
Yeah, I mean, funny you say that, because I'm actually, if you're watching the podcast on YouTube, I am currently kind of working on a Storm to kind of like bring up. So that's kind of weird. Because I know, I'm like, I know what you mean, because I've just recently done that as part of that. The great thing about this is, like, I think for me, I've got BlueStacks on, which allows me to kind of like just have this up whilst I'm kind of editing and recording. So it's kind of good. I think it's always good to have a main account. I have future plans to make a Captain America, probably my main hero, but at the moment I've got Doctor Strange because I chose him first. So I will be coming back to that.
And just so that no one freaks out, Future Revolution is cool with BlueStacks.
Yeah, it is. They are absolutely cool with it. The other element of this is like I will be putting it onto my tablet, which is another job for the weekend to do, so that I can play it via there. There's ways that you can have it on multiple things. Like I will have it on my tablet with a login via email, and kind of like I'll just be setting that up at the weekend in order to do that, because I do want to be able to play this more. I also want to stream it, but I'm not going to stream it via BlueStacks or LD Player, which I do kind of rate a little bit more because it's a bit more efficient. But I will be kind of like doing live streams very, very soon with it. It's just a case I just need to get something working with it.
Cool.
But yeah, like
so Rich, I was gonna say, like, since I'm a new player, I've just selected Storm. I've selected one character. I've got on one mission. What should I try to do this week? with this game?
I would say look to 100% regions, and the region that you're in is New Stark City, I want to say. So an activity in New Stark City. One thing that I did find is that I didn't know I needed better Omega cards until I kind of wanted to 100%. So like you go to New Stark City, you're like go progress, epic missions, and that's like that's the main story narrative to kind of fall from doing side missions really helps to kind of get your level progress quicker. So how I always like saying this is like your hero will become overpowered against the content it will be doing. You can just do epic missions and that's fine, but if you want to get yourself some extra stuff like squad power enhancements, if you want to do the most wanted, which is like your Ultrons, your Kingpins, and various others, you will get some rewards from it, which again is helpful. Doing your villain log, which is like doing all these kind of little mobs, defeating, helps out towards the grand scheme of things, which is I've apparently got 27 of 32. I don't know why that's the case because I've already 100%ed them. And all your collectibles, which as soon as you go through that, you do get to pick up some nice stuff, which is like and some consumable things as well. So there's loads of places, loads of things to do, but I'd say 100%ing each region, which gives you an Omega card, a 5-star Omega card, is that kind of first platform there to kind of like taking you further on. So yeah, you can do that. You can look to get region-specific costume sets, but it's really kind of doing that, going through New Stark City, doing your blitzes, and then that kind of will start you on your little journey to the next place.
Cool. Well, looking forward to it. Hopefully, you get to play a little bit this weekend. So, Rich, what are you up to this week? Wait, actually, no. We got to talk a little MROC. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, we're going to MROC, yeah.
We got to talk a little MROC. I've got it up on the screen before we do things because, much like MCOC, a smaller MROC update for 5.0, but they released a very reflective roadmap.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've looked this over, but it has some interesting acknowledgments that they're kind of laying out a 12-month plan. For the game. That seems optimistic. I hope that they've got another 12 months of runway to kind of work on stuff.
Dan, that's a little burn there, but I kind of 100% agree with you though.
I mean, I'm not trying to take shots at them, but it's like, at some point, like they're gonna have to report some meaningful revenue in that net marble quarterly report, right? Like. That's just how business works.
Yeah.
They're saying, summoners are not in control of their own progression. Gear needs to be more meaningful, not enough variety in gameplay, more robust game engine, and you want to play all your champions. So, some of the gear stuff, they want gear to feel more permanent. I think the most important takeaway in this release notes for me is the acknowledgement that Arena doesn't work at the highest levels unless you have teammates.
Yeah.
Which we've been talking about since like January.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yes, like finally. And they're talking about building a more robust 1v1 PvP. So it's like you and two teammates versus someone else and two teammates, and that being tied to battle rating. And progression. So that seems to be the big bet that they're making with this roadmap.
Yeah, I'm reading this, I don't know really what to say except for this was meant to be December 2020 when the game went out. Like
that's the problem. It's not that they're wrong, it's that they're too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the loss of I saw it through the channel. Like I'm now starting. I've now got to. I'm not blaming Marvel Realm of Champions. I'm not blaming Kabam for this. But it's like with the second channel, I've literally had to kind of like. And I saw December's numbers, and I was like so optimistic for Marvel Realm of Champions on my channel on what was Rich's Realm, and I was thinking to myself, this is great. This is going to be an amazing opportunity to grow this second game. I like it. Things are going good. And I'm like, but as well, the main point was, I thought that Kabam would kind of capitalize and go, okay, well, look, month 1 is the hype month. The hype month went from, say, about 100% down to 10%, based on the fact that it was like, well, what are we doing for the next month? What have Kabam learned? Because obviously there wasn't that much learned in the beta. Not much was changed from the beta to the launch. And then it's like, okay, well, what we're doing instead is we're then going to improve things. And it took to 4.0 to, or was it 0.4? 4.0, which was April. So it took, what, 4 plus months to get to a point of going, okay, we're in a better state. And now it's taken them until another big Marvel mobile game has come out to then go, we need to change things in the next month, the next year. And it's like, look, in the comparison of things, it's like you started in 2019 to make this game. Maybe they'll say, no, we were working on it in 2018. From what I've seen, this looks like a 1-year job, or maybe less than a 1-year job to work on. And you're looking at Marvel Future Revolution, which has got like a lot of stuff in place already. Yeah. It's got an established PvE. PvP is a load of like trash, but that's something that, you know, this game was very different because there wasn't a PvE.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah, they're really that's the thing, is that they launched with basically no PvE.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to catch up.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I wish them well, and personally, I may be interested to then go back to the game and cover it once they get some new champions in. You know, even what is it, like Marvel Future Revolution? They've gone, okay, here's our global launch. There's a new hero coming, and not to say that, you know, did that with what is he called, Super Soldier.
They did that with Super Soldier, and then, you know, much later on, Thor.
4 or 5 months.
But even those were like, you know, those were characters that we thought were going to be available at launch too.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I mean, they're teasing Magic in Future Revolution, and I can tell you, I am definitely saving a slot on my roster for her. Yeah. If that's at all legit, you know, that's I'm definitely going to be picking up as many X-Men characters as I can in this game. So yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, I think they've come to some correct you know, conclusions in Realm. It's just like, okay, like, you released this roadmap, like, I like some stuff in the roadmap, but you released this 5 days before Future Revolution comes out, like, into this massive hype wave for this competing game.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you know, you've got a game that's live with all this stuff, and you're talking about a 12-month plan. Like, that's a tough road to travel.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I'm just trying to look now to see if there's any. The thing is, I'm not going to say like the game is. The interaction in the Marvel Realm of Champions Discord is low. The Reddit interaction is low. It's just a case of going like, right, well, what is the activity? I will go back and I will kind of like check out the game. I will kind of see what the numbers are looking like and feel like whether or not this is something that I'll be willing to get back to. But I think I've got about a 2 to 3 month plan. Actually, no, 2 to 4 month plan of videos I want to make for Marvel Future Revolution. So as soon as I get that out of the way, then maybe if I get to a regular thing, like I don't want to go back to doing news for Marvel Future Revolution. I don't want to go down that route because it's just like,
no, because that's setting yourself up for a grind.
Yeah, and then it's like that's what I'm known for with the main channel or this channel. So it's like I do want the second channel to be about like grinding games and stuff. I will do like little things like, oh, Magic's coming to the game, which Marvel Future Revolution's kindly retweeted. Appreciate that. That gave me a little spike of new subs to the second channel, which was nice.
Nice.
But apart from that, Dan, what are you up to next week? Or trying to get up to.
Trying to. You know, I'm going to work on Variant 7 a little bit, but I am really looking forward to the new update and us getting Kitty and Nimrod on the CCP beta.
Yeah.
I don't tend to do a lot of champion testing. This month will be an exception because I'm heavily invested in these two champions, and I want to be able to talk about them and test them out. And I am prepared to blow all my units on Kitty Pryde Cavalier crystals if it comes to it. So I know people will say, do the arena. The time, right? Like, I would have to take 2 days off of work and probably send my wife and kid on a 3-day vacation to be able to do that. It would be and then buy several Odins.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So I think I'm just gonna spin some crystals and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's the time, Rich. It's the time.
Absolutely. I'm in the Endgame now for preparation, so I've got to make additional content. Or no, I've got to start writing for additional content for when it comes into October and when I'm going to be taking some time off. So I need to be kind of like preparing for that and working towards that. Just so much work I've got to get done this month. Life. But yeah, that has been the podcast. Thanks everybody for jumping on by. We'll be back next time for episode 73, and have a lovely day, weekend, whatever you're doing. Appreciate you. Bye bye.